Welcome to our Hebrew class. As you can see on the screen, we are now at Yehuchanan, John chapter 9, verses 32 to 37. And we hope these are being useful. That's why they're specifically color-coded to make it a bit easier to read. And of course, we need to know also the vowels. And therefore, we have this chart for anyone who might be a little bit new with the Nikud vowel markings, and we have very useful resources that will help you practice. And let us begin. And of course, we're in verse 32, and in Hebrew it's represented by the letters Lamed and Vayet. Lamed being a value of 30 and Vayet being a value of 2. And let us just recite the letters. Mem, Ayin, Vav, Lamed. Mem Safit, Lamed, Aleph, Nun, Shin, Mem, Ayin, Aleph, Shin, Resh, Pei, Kuf, Chet, Aleph, Yod, Shin, Ayin, Yod, Nun, Yod, Hey, Nun, Vav, Lamed, Dalet, Ayin, Vav, and Resh. Now we're just going to look at the effect the vowel markings might have on letters. And also, as you can see here, we see the ayin and the lamed, and ayin again, they're in white, which means they're silent, they're not pronounced. And the vav has a dot above it, so we don't say the vav, we say me'olam. So therefore, that's an O sound. Let's see if there's any others that we need to know. That's an O sound. And this one is like an E sound, an EY or E sound underneath. So let us now begin. It is me'olam, me'olam, meaning from ever or from old, they often translate it. Lo, not, nishma. Now we know the nun can also be like we. And of course, Shema, we know means to hear. We have heard. So I guess that's in context. Ashir, that. Pakach, opened. Ish, a man. Ne, the eyes. Ha, no, lad, of the one born. Because no lad means to be born. Iver. Iver means blind. Remember, this is the story of the man who was healed, who was born blind, and this Pharisees are questioning him, and he's answering them. So, the normal English, from of old, it has never been heard that anyone opened the eyes of one born blind. And down here I've got me'olam, which is an adjective or adverb. It can mean never, always, from eternity. And they use it as from old, from ever, or from old, right? From eternity past, you could say. Right, now let us read that without any help from the transliteration. And we have me'olam lo nishma Asher pakach ish ene ha nolad iver. Right, moving on to the next verse. And of course we're in 33. Lamed is 30. Gimel is 3. The third letter of the alphabet. And we have Lamed, Vav, Lamed, Aleph, Hey, Yod, Hey, Zion, Hey, Mem, Aleph, Tav, Aleph, Lamed, Hey, Yod, Mem, Safit, meaning a mem at the end of the word. Lamed, Aleph, Hey, Yod, Hey, Yod, Kaf, Lamed. And now reading. And this time we have Lulay. Lulay, if not. So down here I've got Lulay can be were it not for, had it not been, if not for, So we'll just take it as if not. Haya was, they, this, me'at, which is like, the mem is like from, and et is often like a grammar marker. Elohim, lo, not, haya was, yakol, able, because yakol means to be able, right? He would be able, we could say. If this man were not from Elohim, he would not be able. That's why it's translated that way. So let us read that. Lule haya ze me'et Elohim lo haya yakol. Okay, and then we move to part B, and we have a lamed, an ayin, a sin, a vav, a tav, a mem, and a aleph, a vav, a mem, and a hey. And it is la a sot. And la means to, a sot is, the root word is a sa, meaning to do. So therefore that's what we've got, to do. Me'uma, anything. He would not be able, from the previous verse, to do anything. And let's have a look. Just the word me'uma is a masculine noun. It can mean anything, or literally it means nothing. He could do nothing or anything, right? Right, let's just quickly read that. La-a-sot. Remembering that the vav there is an O sound, and the dot on the left side of the shin is now becoming a sin, so it's an S sound. La-a-sot. Me'ulma. Me'ulma. All right, moving to verse 34, we see we got a lamed again, and a dalet, value of 4. And then we have a vav, yod, ayin, nun, vav, vav, yod, aleph, mem, resh, vav, aleph, lamed, yod, vav, hey, nun, sofit, nun at the end of the word, bet, because of the dot in there, chet, tet, aleph, yod, mem, sofit, remember the end of the word, nun, vav, lamed, dalet, tav, kaf, lamed, kaf, sofit, which is that letter, but it's at the end of a word, it takes on a different shape. Right, now let's read that. Vaya'anu, and they answered. They is the u at the end. Ya'an is to answer. And they answered, Vayomru, and they again, the vav at the end, and they said, Elev, to him. The him is the vav at the end. Hen, which literally is a short form of hine, which is behold. Ba chataim. Now we know that chata means sin. So in is the ba, sins is the plural of chata. So it's ba chataim. No la ta. And we can see there the ta is you and no is like were. You were born. Because yalad is like to be born. And then it is kulak. Kulak. All of you. So the kaf at the end, kaf sofit is like you, and kul is all. So it's all of you. They answered and said to him, look, you were all born entirely in sin. So this is a Pharisee speaking to the common people, thinking that they're sort of sinless or so, or with little sin. So let's read it. Vaya'anu. vayomru elev hen bachataim nolata kulak. Right. And part B, we have a vav, an aleph, a tav, a hey. A tav, a lamed, a mem, a dalet, a nun, a vav. Vav, yod, hey, dalet, fe, hey, vav. Hey, chet, vav, zade, hey. Now let's read it. The ata, which means and you. The vet there. The vav at the front is and then ata is you. To la medenu, to la medenu, shall teach us. Let's have a look. Lamad. That's what we're looking at the root. Limed. Limed is the verb to teach, to instruct. And then we have va ye de fu hu. The ye de fu hu. Pretty long word. And, assuming they thrust him. And they thrust him. Ha chutza. Ha chutza. Ha chutza. Outside. And I just went back to this one. The root letters are in the middle. If we look down here, chadaf. Chadaf is a verb to push, to shove, or to thrust. And that's how we get that. And thrusted him outside. And in context, and they thrust him outside. And then from the previous verse, you were born entirely in sins. And then they say, are you now teaching us? So they put him out. Of course, that's out of the synagogue, whatever, wherever he was, which most likely was the local synagogue or so. Now let's read that. V'ata te la medenu va-ye defu hu ha chutza. Okay. Now we're into 35, which has lamed and a hey, to give us 30 and 5. And then we have a vav, yod, shin, mem, ayin, yod, hey, vav, shin, ayin, kaf, yod, hey, dalet, fe, because there's no dot in there, hey, vav, but of course it's a new sound, hey, chet, vav, zade, hey, vav, yod, fe, no dot, gimel, shin, hey, vav, but a u sound. Vayishma, and of course, and heard, or any heard, Yahushua, Yahushua or Yahusha, ki, that, hadafuhu, hadafuhu, that they thrust him, that he was thrusted, you could say. Ha chutza, outside, vayif geshehu, and encountered him. So where do we get the encountered? Look at the root word, fe gimel shin. Fe gimel shin, pagash, a verb to meet, to face off, to encounter. And that's how we find our meanings. And these at the beginning are literally prefixes. The yod is a future prefix. The vav in front of it reverses the tense of the word to being a completed action. And of course, who is him or at the end? Right, so now let us read that. And it is Vayishma Yahushua ki ha-defuhu ha-chutza vayifgeshehu. Right, moving on. Part B, we have a Vav, a Yod, and a Aleph, a Mem, a Resh, and a Aleph, a Lamed, a Yod, Vav, Hey, Tav, Aleph, Mem, Yod, Nun Sofit, Bayet, Vayet, Nun Sofit, Hey, Aleph, Dalet, Mem Sofit. And it is Va-yo-mer. And he said, so when there's no pronoun on the end, it's always he. And he said, Elev, unto them, or to him, so unto him, sorry, the Vav is a him. To him, ha ta'amin, do you believe? Therefore, we've got amin, which literally means to believe, right? So if we look down there, he'amin is a normal word, verb to believe, to trust. But that's dropped off, replaced with the tav. So it literally means, do you believe, like an incomplete action. And then it is be-ven, be-ven, which means be is in and ven is son, right? In the son, ha-adam, of Adam. When he met him, he said unto him, do you believe in the Son of Man? Now let's just quickly read that. Vayomer Elev ha ta'amin beven ha Adam. All right, moving on again. We're into 36, and it's represented by Lamed 30, Vav 6. Then we have a Vav, a Yod, an Ayin, a Nun Savit, a Vav, Yod, Aleph, Mem, Resh, Mem, Yod, Hey, Vav, Aleph, Zayin, Hey, Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yod, Vav, Aleph, Aleph, Mem, Yod, Nun Savit, Bayet, because the dot, and Vav, but it's no sound. And we read it, Vaya'an, and he answered. He, because there's no pronoun there. Vayomar, and said, and he said, me, who they, is he this? Literally, who is he? So you could say, who he this, but it can also be is. Who is he this? Adoni, my master. The amin. Now we see amin is missing the hey, but it still means to believe. And the aleph is taking on the pronoun, which is I. And I may believe, to put it sort of in context, in understood, to be understood. And I believe is literally what it's saying, but I may believe is normally how it's translated. And then bo is literally in him. So my master, and I may believe in him. He answered and said, who is he, my master? And in the English they got, that I may believe in him, which is a bit easier to sort of understand that. And of course I've put here amin, meaning I believe, or I may believe. Now let's read that. Vaya'an, Vayomar, me, who, they, Adoni, the, amin, bo. Next we have 37, a Lamed and a Zayin. 30 and 7. And the letters Vav, Yod, Aleph, Mem, Resh, Aleph Lamed Yod Vav, Yod Hey Vav, Shin Ayin Hey Nun Sofit, Resh Aleph Yod Tav, Aleph Tav Vav. And just going through the letters is just to stir up your mind, to remember the letters so you don't have to think too much about them. Now let's read it. Vayomer, and he said, Elev, to him, Yahushua, or Yahusha, Hen, behold, Ra'ita, you see, Oto, him, because we're seeing here Ra, which stems from Ra'ah, which is to see. And then the Ta is you, the pronoun you. So Yeshua said to him, look, you've seen him. Now let's read that. Vayomer Elev Yahushua Hen Ra'ita Oto. And now we have part B. A Vav, a Hey, a Mem, a Dalet, a Bayet, a Resh, an Aleph, Lamed, Yod, Kaf, Sofit, Hey, Nun, Hey, Zion, Hey, Hey, Vav, Aleph. And we read it. The Ham da Bear. The Ham da Bear. And the one speaking. Because the Hey at the beginning of that is like causative, the one who's being caused to speak. The one speaking, Eleka. Ele is unto, and ka is you, to you. Hine, behold, ze, this, who is he. So behold, he is the one speaking to you. And down here, of course, I've given you the word diber, which is a verb to speak, to talk, from our first word there, daber. Right. And now let's read that without the help. The ham daber, eleka, hine, ze, who. Very good. And we are already in our revision now to see what we remembered from all that. So let us begin. And of course we know that's Lamed and that's a Vayet, which means it is 32. And then we read it. Me'olam, from ever, or from old. Lo, not. Nishma, we heard. Ashir that Pakach opened Ish, a man, Ene, the eyes, Ha nolad, the one born, Iver, blind, and the English. From ever or from old, not we have heard that opened a man the eyes of the one born blind. And then we have a Lamed, 30, Gimel 3, 33. Lu lay, if not, Haya was, they this, Me'et, from grammar marker, Elohim, lo not, Haya was, Yakol, he able. If not, was this from, question mark, Elohim, not was he able, or to be able. La asot, to do, me uma, anything, or not he was able to do anything in context. To do anything. Very good. Now let's move to this one, which is Lamed 30 Dalet 4, 34. Vaya'anu, and they answered. Va yom ru, and they said, Elev unto him, and behold, ba chataim, in sins, no lad ta, you were born, kulak, all of you. And they answered, and they said to him, behold, in sin you were born, all of you, and all the common people. Va'ata, and you te la medenu, and you shall teach us. Va yeda fu hu, and they thrust him. Ha chutza, outside. And you shall teach us? And they thrust him outside. And we have a Lamed 30, Hey 5, 35. Va yishma, and heard Yahushua ki, that ha defu hu, that they had thrust him, ha chutza, outside, va yif ge shehu, and encountered him, and heard Yahushua that they thrust him outside and encountered him or met him, right? And then we have Va Yomer, and he said, Elev unto him, Ha Ta'amim. Shall you believe? Or do you believe? Beven, in the Son, Ha-Adam, of man. And he said to him, do you believe in the Son of Adam? Lamed 30, Vav 6, Va Ya'an. And he answered, Va Yomar, and said, me, who? Who? This one is who, and this is said in Hebrew as who, right? This is me, meaning who, and then who, meaning he or is he, they, this, Adoni, my master, va amin, and I may believe, bo, in him. And he answered and said, who is he this, my master, and I may believe in him? Or that I may believe in him is how the English puts it. Of course, what we see there is amin, meaning to believe. So I to believe. So then it's translated as I may believe. And then we go down to the bottom line, Lamed Zion, which is 30 and 7. Vayomer, and he said, Elev unto him, Yahushua, hen, behold, Ra'ita, you see, or you've seen, depending how you want to take it, but in context, it's literally to see, in the plural, right? Oto, him. So let's see it. And he said to him, Yahushua, behold, you see him. And finally, the Hamdaber, and the one speaking, Eleka, to you. Hine, behold, they, this, who is he? Because with the hey, it's causative, so the one that is being caused to speak. It's a Hiffeld, I think they call it. Unto you, the calf is you, right? Okay, that brings us to the end of this lesson. And all we have now is the chart as usual for the vowel markings, just in case you're still struggling with that. And we'll take the bottom line, and when there's a dot next to the vav like that, it's called a shuruk, because it's so easy to forget all these names, I realize, but as long as we know how to use it, it's like an oo sound, shuruk. So we just think of the first vowel sound, shu, so it's an oo sound. And this one also, it's a passive, but it's a ku, which means the same sound. This is shu, this is ku. Still got that oo sound. And this is called a kataf segal because it's associated with the shava, but it literally is a segal that follows the shava. And this is a chirik. Again, it's chi, meaning the I sound. This is a kataf petach, because we have a petach here, which is like an A sound, pa. And this is a kataf kamat, so it's a ka, a little bit longer A sound, ka. Unfortunately, there is occasions when this turns into more an O sound. But whether that's a traditional thing that sort of developed over time, I don't know, because initially it's a ka sound. But we'll come across those occasionally. It's not often. Well, anyway, then we come to the last part here. And we were doing up to 37, which of course was Zion, followed by Lamed. So you have Lamed, and you either have the Dalet, the Hey, Vav, Zion, with the Lamed. And just for remembrance, a Tav has a value of 400, Shin has a value of 300, a Resh has a value of 200, and a Kuf has a value of 100. The idea of doing these and looking at them is, with time, you'll remember them. You'll see a Tav and you'll know, oh, that's 400. So gradually we get to know the value of the letters. When we see a Dalet, we straight away think 4, Gimel 3. So gradually we will know it. And these, again, are the resources which I hope you make use of, because they are very useful when we're practicing. Virtually every night I use, and that's a website, so you can just bring it up on your tablet or whatever, and you can practice it, and you can have a phone with the dictionary there that you can just check the meaning of the words. And then gradually, with time, you will become more familiar with the Hebrew. There won't be such a big struggle, and you'll be surprised at how much you can pick up. So, I just want to wish you a Shavua Tov for this week. May you be blessed. May you have a blessed week. And Shavua Tov, of course, means a good 7 or a good week. Thank you for joining us again.